The issue of guns was very much on the agenda at the Supreme Court, where the US president has praised the latest ruling of the court. It upholds a federal ban on domestic abusers from owning guns. It was an 8-1 ruling, with only one justice, Clarence Thomas, dissenting. President Biden says victims of domestic violence can count on critical protections as a result of the ruling. There are several other major decisions from the court before the term ends in July, including a ruling on emergency room abortions and former President Trump's bid for immunity from election subversion charges. Duncan Levin is the former federal prosecutor and managing partner and criminal attorney at Levin and Associates, joins me now. Look, I've glanced at this ruling. Essentially, the Supreme Court is not redefining, they're clarifying that decision Brown that they gave 2 years ago, which they say was misunderstood. But the role of the court was to say how you interpret what was historical.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this 2022 decision by the court that really rapidly expanded gun rights, and it had the order basically relied on historical practices, and it sowed so much confusion that there was a floodgate opened by challenges to all sorts of gun regulations. And the fact that this decision is seen as a significant win just underscores how completely dysfunctional our country's approach to gun control is. I mean, it's a correction basically to this decision, but it really is highlighting the precedent that's set by this decision.
Right.
It's a very low bar here.
Right, but the Second Amendment and the whole question over that, is this an important decision? Bearing in mind the facts of this particular case, as it relates to domestic abusers, even reading Clarence Thomas's dissent, does this actually, is it an obvious one, I guess?
Well, look, I mean, it basically is saying that the Second Amendment has some limits, and this is one of the limits. I mean, I don't think this is a moment for grand celebration because the bar is set shockingly low when we consider that we're really merely preventing known criminal from owning guns. I mean, it's alarming that we're having this conversation in the first place. But it is an important decision because it does show that there are at least some limitations that the Supreme Court will put on gun ownership, and this is one of them.
This whole concept, which fascinates me, of the historical, you've got to look back at pre-Constitution and post-Constitution. How, to viewers around the world who say, for goodness sake, how can you look back to the 1800s and try and glean, and then put that into context in 2024? What is the judicial rationale of this?
Well, the judicial rationale really has just been one of dismantling all of the gun control efforts over the last X number of years in the country, and it's part of the culture wars that we're having here. And you know, look, there have been all sorts of robust laws that have been put forth by legislators, not just about this. This deals with restraining orders, but from accessing firearms, loopholes to some of the gun ownership rules, strengthening background checks, enforcing red flag laws. So this doesn't really address any of that. It's a very small limitation. I think the judges are basically saying, well, there's some limitation that they will place on it. So in a way, it's a significant victory for people who have been, involved in some kind of domestic violence, but it doesn't really help answer those questions.
Now, good to have you with us, but stay with me, sir. Stay with me for 1 second, because I wanted to bring this. We're just getting some news in. A Nevada judge has dismissed charges against 6 Republicans accused of trying to certify the 2020 election in favor of Donald Trump. According to the AP, the judge said state prosecutors filed their case in the wrong venue. They plan to immediately appeal against the ruling. The defense attorneys declared the case effectively dead, saying charges in a new venue would violate 3-year statute of limitations. The defendants signed certificates stating that Trump had won despite him losing by more than 30,000. They sent the certificates to Congress, and you know what happened after that. Back to our guest there to get on this. You just said this is The rest of the world is listening and watching this. This is never ending. Now we have a judge dismissing charges because of a wrong venue. How does this happen?
We have a system that is adversarial, and at the end of the day, venue is something that is a threshold jurisdictional question, and this court clearly heard it out. And it may very well be that politics are at play. This news is just breaking now,
Yeah.
and as it comes in, we have to take a look at it. But this is something that both sides obviously are going to consider bringing this in a different venue. Venue challenges do happen from time to time. But I think the rest of the world is seeing the good and the bad of this adversarial legal system right now. And I think some politics that have clearly crept into it on both sides.
Duncan, I'm very glad that you were able to quickly give us that. Forgive me for throwing that at you, but I figured with your experience of the criminal law, there's probably not much that you haven't seen. Thank you, sir. I'm grateful.